going on, guys? Black Scout Survival Late Night Live, and it's too late when you realize my videos ain't clickbait. A lot of times people say your videos are clickbait, but you're going to notice some things that I've said over the past few weeks that are like coming to fruition. Anyhow, we're looking at possible maybe collapse, complete collapse, financial collapse, maybe recession, depression, all possible, maybe nothing. But what we do know is that SVB Bank went down, and then another bank went down. We're looking at two banks collapsing within 3 days, and then a possible third that I'll talk about. What this could lead to is something known as bank runs, and that's basically whenever people go and take out all the money that they have from the bank, and they need the money in the bank because they don't have their own money. They use your money to make money. That's why financial advisors always say that money in the bank is no good. The billionaires are not leaving money in the bank. If you ask a billionaire or millionaire how much money they have in the bank, they really don't have any money in the bank. They have it split up to make them more money, right? You invest in assets, not liabilities. Anyway, so I think this could possibly lead to bank runs. I've already been hearing about it. Lots of people talking about they're going to take all the money out of the bank tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be a big determining factor on what's going to happen. This has happened actually in many countries before and caused complete economic collapses. You can use your Google and just Google through and look at other countries that have collapsed just because people are doing bank runs, basically going and withdrawing all their money. So this type of panic could make things move quite fast. This is a weakening of America. This could lead to more bad news, increased crime, with some kind of something like this happen, potential attack by another country. We got China breathing down our neck. We're looking at the verge of World War III. It could be even cyber attacks in America's weakened state. Obviously, under the Biden administration, America has been nothing but weak. So why not keep knocking the dominoes down? Anyhow, now back onto the banks. I told you guys about 3 or 4 weeks ago, if you remember, if you're a follower of mine, you heard me say this, and this is one of those things where it was a hint for you guys, but you can't come out and say some direct things because sometimes you can go to jail for those things. But I told you about a financial guy that's in the financial realm that actually pulled out all of his money 2 months ago. And I was hinting at it then, but if you remember, all of this clickbait, it's all clickbait. That's what my haters say anyway. I'm really just a conspiracy theorist. But how should you talk to your friends and relatives who believe conspiracy theories? You say, "Hey, bro, you were right about everything. I'm sorry." That's what you say. Anyway, SVB was one of the top among the top 20 American commercial banks with $209 billion in total assets at the end of last year. So along with this bank run that happened, let me pull this up. Along with this bank run that happened, the Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates to try and tame the inflation that the Biden administration has caused. Higher interest rates also eroded the value of the long-term bonds. That also they also created a self-inflicted area. The bank's management chose to sell $21 billion of bonds at a $1.8 billion loss. But hey, guys, at least Orange Man Bad isn't president anymore, right? It's funny how people in the media always fall for what the media says by calling someone a racist. That gets them every time. They're like, "Oh, he's a racist, so he's a bad guy, and we got to believe he's a racist because they say it." But remember that when you lose everything that you work for, along with you not being able to eat. I mean, you about can't afford groceries now. You go look at eggs, bacon, everything else. And hey, Ukraine is taken care of. They're getting their money. Don't worry about that. We're taking care of them. But yeah, they've been getting all that reparation money that they said they'd give you if you voted for Joe Biden. So anyway, customers withdrew $42 billion from their accounts on Thursday. That's $4.2 billion an hour, or more than $1 million per second for 10 hours straight. The previous largest bank run in modern U.S. history took place at Washington Mutual Bank. You guys probably remember this back in 2008, totaling $16.7 billion over the course of 10 days. And that was a trickle in comparison to what we saw at SVB. So this is the largest bank run in U.S. history that took place on Friday. Almost none of SVB deposits by value were FDIC insured. Its customers were overwhelmingly corporations with more than $250,000 in the bank. So the thing is, what you need to know is if your bank is FDIC insured, and a lot of people may not have this issue, but if you have over $250,000, that money over $250,000 is not insured, so you will lose it. But if your bank is not FDIC insured, you will lose everything. So anyhow, Silicon Valley is a small, tight-knit place. Most SVB customers are just one degree of separation away from a small group of venture capitalists who started making it clear on Thursday they thought pulling out cash from SVB was a smart and prudent move. There was actually tweets about this that I saw with some tech guys saying that, hey, you need to pull out all your money out of SVB. And they were saying this, I think, on the 10th, so 3 days ago or so. So the bottom line, they say here, is no bank can withstand the kind of outflow in a single day, especially when a similar size outflow was all but certain the following day. So that bank run ultimately led in their demise. I mean, obviously it had been set up that way just because the country, the way it's moving with inflation. But the other thing is that the government's talking about bailing these guys out. Well, the government loves taking control of things, right? And, this is something I do want to remind you, is that you always have to be careful of what the government's saying, because typically they want to control narratives. So if you remember at the beginning of the coup, a lot of people, including me, including a lot of people, believed that the coup was very bad and all these sort of things. In the very beginning days of it, you thought, oh, this is going to be terrible. People are dying just walking down the sidewalk. Then you have, the war in Ukraine happen, and a lot of Americans were going over there and fighting in this war. So you have to be very careful on what the media is telling you, because a lot of time there's a reason. That's why I even question what is what is behind all these Palestine, Ohio, and the other train derailments. Why is there so much emphasis on this by the media, right? There's always a reason why they control narratives and they won't talk about other things. Now, it's kind of like the spy balloon. Let's go about that for a second. The only reason why you heard about that was because some random person in Montana filmed it and then shared it with a local news company. So earlier, Thomas Massey said, I just got off the Zoom meeting with Fed, Treasury, FDIC, House, and Senate. A Democrat senator essentially asked whether there was a program in place to censor information on social media that could lead to a run on the banks. So they're already trying to control this narrative. So this video most likely will get hit. It will get censored because they're obviously already trying to control this narrative. So this is something that you're probably not going to hear anywhere else. It's probably going to start dying off, this narrative, because they want to stop bank runs. And I'm not advocating a bank run. It's already too late. If you hadn't been prepared by now, we're going to talk about that in a moment. But if you hadn't got prepared by now and you're my viewer, then you should have been listening. Anyway, Rick Henshaw then replies, I'm anti-censorship as it gets, but spreading unfounded rumors to promote a run on a bank is one of the very few instances where the yelling fire in a crowded theater analogy does apply. So unfounded rumors, banks are literally closing. Like we've got two, and then a third is on the verge. And we're talking about top 20 banks here. And then we have Thomas Massey comes back and says, what about yelling fire in a theater that's on fire? Yeah, how is yelling fire in a theater, how's that bad? So they're trying to control this narrative already. So do me a favor, when this video does post, go comment. I know you're in the live chat, and I do appreciate it. I'm glad to see all my tribe members here. But go comment and like and share this video to help fight this algorithm, because they will try to censor this information. So Signature is one of the main banks that in New York, it actually closed today. So Signature is one of the main banks in the cryptocurrency industry. Okay. As of December 31st, they had $110 billion in total assets and $88 billion in total deposits. they closed today. Okay. And they're in New York. And you guys remember whenever I was asked about cryptocurrency, and I said it maybe 100 times after that because it seemed like I got a lot of blowback. And I said not to invest in cryptocurrency at tanked. But again, I'm just some redneck conspiracy theorist, so I don't really know anything. But the thing is that I'm not going to sit here and tell you stuff just because. Like, I'm telling you because I'm trying to help you. Banking, you have to understand, is that it's an enterprise. It relies much on the confidence of cash. And if that runs out, their game is over. Okay. Banks use your money to make money. Banks, the money in the bank only does the bank good. Okay. Remember that. So there's a possible third bank run going on at the second regional bank. Okay. And former PayPal executive, tech investor, and entrepreneur David Sachs says another bank run is already underway at second regional following the SVB. So we have a third one. So here, both the thing to understand is this, more of a business banking phenomenon. I think this is less about the consumer side. This is an issue about business banking, that the 250,000 FDIC insurance limit isn't really adequate for business accounts. Of course it's not. Most businesses have more than that cash flow in the bank. So there's going to be a lot of businesses that will in turn go under. Okay. So this is going to be a ripple effect, and this is how it always is. And this is what happens in foreign countries that you can go research. Like I said before, Kathy Urban thinks, she said they want a bank run. That's why their goal is they want us broke. So that would be my first theory, Kathy, is that they do want bank runs to happen. They want us to hit a complete demise so the government can take over these banks. That would be a first ones, right? We're already headed into a recession, depression, whatever, thanks to the Biden administration. So what better way to make it seem like, oh, it's not our fault, the banks were going down? Not really. That's just because people went on bank runs, right? So that would be a good way. Warren's got a great point here: distraction from capital security video releases. There's good point, and you have to always look for what is the distraction, because I believe the other week with the balloon, you notice how the Biden paper, you hadn't heard the documents anymore. That totally vanished, right? Hunter having access to these documents and these sort of things all vanished. So look, I think money's good to have. I think it's great to have. I think you should work, be a working man, have multiple streams of income. I've always been a proponent of that, and I will always myself have multiple streams of income. Okay, I learned that many years ago from Tim Ferriss. He said in the 4-Hour Work Week to never have all your eggs in one basket, right? And it's a good way. Now, a lot of people will say that, oh, you're really stressed out because you're working essentially two full-time jobs, but it doesn't matter, because let me tell you something. When you get to a level where you don't have to really care as much about things, you actually are better. Your performance goes up, where you're not so stressed about one sole income. You also have less stress because you have multiple income. So I mean, your bills are getting paid, these sort of things. You have money, but you don't have to care as much about what people say to you and things like that. Anyhow, as far as my subscribers, you should have already invested your wealth in the hard assets. I've been saying that for a very long time. I literally only promote things that I truly believe in. Like, this is the thing. Like, I get called a shill a lot, just like a lot of YouTubers. A lot of YouTubers are shills. A lot of Instagrammers are shills. A lot of people on social media. But the thing you have to understand that's different about me is that I'm not like these other YouTubers that need to stay in community guidelines because they need to keep that revenue flowing, because they have to survive. Like, literally, they have to pay their mortgage. They have to pay their doctor bills, their kids' doctor bills. They have to pay for their food through YouTube or Instagram or whatever they're doing. So they have to stay in community guidelines. So are they really ever going to say the truth? Probably not. Steven Crowder actually spoke about this. Steven Crowder is one of the only guys legit in the game, I really feel like, because he said F you to money multiple times. I've seen him do it. He told Black Rifle he wasn't going to work with them anymore after the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. he just outed some other guys for trying to basically say that he had to stay within community guidelines. And so, you know, he's one of the realest in the game. But most everybody else are bought and paid for. They will stay in community guidelines. They will not say what needs to be said. And because they need it to survive. That's why the beginning of their videos are like, hey, go check out my sponsor, video, channel sponsor, this and that, because they need your money. They need it to survive. I don't need your money to survive. I have a very successful career where I'm highly sought after technical expert in my field. So when I tell you things like to get in shape, it's not because I'm trying to make money off you. I'm literally trying to help you, right? I want you to be in shape, because you can't get in shape after the fact. Like, it's not something you can like for example, you can go and buy night vision, and now all of a sudden you can see in the dark. You can't just go buy getting in shape, right? You have to actually be disciplined, work for it. It's something that you can't buy. That's what I love about physical fitness, for one, because rich people can't attain it without working the same as me or you, right? And most of them don't have the discipline to do it, or time to do it. They don't want to carve out the time to do it, right? So I'm telling you, you know, to get in shape, and I'm not pushing just any product like BCAAs or weighted jump ropes or weight loss drinks or anything like that, because I'm telling you what I actually use, right? I'm giving you the hack, you know, but getting into shape when the disaster strikes will be impossible. You may have to carry heavy stuff. You may have to run long distances. You may have to climb up things. You don't know. You don't know what the scenario. We don't know day to day. One day it's a nuclear war with China, North Korea. Next day it's banks are collapsing. You know, we don't know what it is day to the next. Aliens. Wait for my video tomorrow. Anyway, then on the food, like, you literally have to eat every single day. Like, I'm telling you the food that I recommend that I actually help put the kit together. Let me see if I got the kit here. Like, literally, I put this kit together because this is my favorite products from this company, and I gave you a discount code. Right? I've been telling you to buy this because once your money's no good, you're not going to be able to buy food, right? You won't be able to buy that for $5,000, right? Because your money's going to be worthless. So you guys think I'm shilling, but I don't need the money. Don't use my link, right? If you don't want me to make money, just don't use my link. It's that easy. Just don't use the link that I post. Go type it in yourself, and I won't get money. It's fine. I'm okay with that. I don't need your money. I'll eat. I'll get paid a mortgage. It's okay. I get a few corn nuggets when you purchase something with my link. I don't really care. I own my own business, and I work in a very good career field. So some people ask me about, would you buy gold and silver? I hear this all the time. People are like, will you buy gold and silver? Should I buy gold and silver? Do not fall into that scam. Sure, gold is up. Gold is up right now, right? It took a dip last year. It's up. The 5-year high is phenomenal. But I would say to buy more tangible items like ammo and food, land, things like that. Without looking at the price of gold, can you tell me what it is off the top of your head? You don't know. I don't know. Right? And I just looked at it. And will it ever be a tradable commodity? Even if banks fell and cash was useless, would it really be a tradable commodity? If I came up to your camp and I said, hey, man, can I have some food and I'll give you this gold coin? You can't eat the gold coin. You can't shoot out of a gun. It's worthless, right? It's not an antibiotic. If you look, I literally push antibiotics, food, and fitness. Outside of that, you see all these other guys pushing all these other things. I don't push them because it's useless. It's a waste. Maybe some survival products and things like that. But would you trade your car for guns and food though? Absolutely, you would. If you're starving to death, you'd say, hey man, you can take as long as it wasn't EMP damage, you'd say, take my car, wouldn't you? Right. But you don't have a clue what it costs, or even if it was real in a grid out scenario, you wouldn't have a way to detect if it's even real. So you wouldn't trade for it. It's not going to heal you. It's not going to kill a bad guy, and you can't eat it. You can't get nutrition from it. So it's useless. I never, ever say to buy gold. People ask me that all the time. You know, I guess it could be good, and if the grid were ever to go back up again. But in the meantime, spend that money on food and ammo, buy some land. That's it. Like, other than that, antibiotics, these sort of things. Outside of that, it's like, everything else is just extra, right? And I could tell you to go buy some, survival knives from me. I could tell you to go buy what I got, some t-shirts or hats. I mean, we do got new hats in, by the way. People always ask about that. I could tell you those things, but no, I'm telling you what to buy, right? And if you don't want to use my link, just don't use it. It's fine. I'm okay with that. I just want you to be prepared. That's why I make these videos. I don't need your money like the other YouTubers. But and I'm not saying this from a self-righteous standpoint. I don't really care. I don't really care what people think about me at all, other than my family. So, but I'm telling you that because I do this to try to help people. And I think that every day we're taking a new turn, right? Like I said, one day is verge of World War III. The next day is, China's got spy balloons and lasers flying over us, alien UFOs, and now banks are collapsing. You can't buy food, right? You can't afford food. I mean, my grocery bill alone, I know, has been up to $100 extra a week. So looking at extra 400. What should we do about antibiotics? Justin, there's a company called Jase Medical. There's a link below, or don't use my link. Just type in Jase Medical if you want to. But I have a link down there if you do want to support us for me giving you this advice. Jase Medical, that's the one that me and my family use. There's a couple of them that do it, but I like Jase the best. Now they are, because there are a lot of people were asking for my information because they're doctors that are prescribing you a medication. So you have to actually fill out just like you would at a doctor's office, right? Some people say buy fish antibiotics and stuff like that, but there's more than just amoxicillin or penicillin, whatever it is. You need more. They give you the 5 major ones, right? Because I've had some, being in the outdoor realm, doing crazy things, I've had some nasty infections that amoxicillin and penicillin would not take care of, that you need very specific one, and you get those in that Jase kit. So let me look at some of your comments real quick. You can buy land with gold, possibly, but who's going to ask if it's, if this, I'm talking about a grid down scenario, brother. I mean, if I bought gold now, I can go sell it down the street at We Buy Gold. I'm saying in a grid down scenario. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, Jase Medical, Jase Medical. And the links are below. I have all the links to food, medical, and workout stuff below. And cigars if you like those, because my boy, he's a patriot. He's a good dude. And he also sells, he owned a company that have some of the best men's vitamins and the sleep aid. Okay, now the company changed to, because he's a Christian, it changed from, what was it before? Something subs, but now it's Covenant Nutrition, because he's trying to keep it Christian, the name Christian based. It's down below, whatever the Vitae is, the men's multivitamin. But he's got and I use it every night, almost sauna or something like that. It's a sleep aid, and it is amazing. It is amazing. You'll get very good sleep. But obviously, if you have chickens, you have eggs, these sort of things, goats, obviously you're way ahead of the game, unless you have a derailment that kills all your livestock. I still think you need to have shelf-stable food. They want to control the narrative and tell us what you think or believe. Absolutely. That's why I always say to question every single thing, guys. Every single thing. Question every single thing. I've been duped by them too. I'm man enough to admit that I've been duped by the media too before I started questioning every single thing they say. Everything. You have to question everything. Why are they telling me this? There's a reason why they're telling you this. It isn't for your own good. It's to control you somehow. Thank you, brother. Yep. Obviously, Sarah Hall, thank you. We're going to actually discuss this in depth this week, because this is actually a big one. Something actually occurred, and I think it's going to be a good point, a valid point. We'll discuss that. Shelf life, I think, is like 20 years, something like that. And antibiotics, they last a very long time, even past the date. A lot of people say the date is like 5 years, or they say that. but it's not true. I've used antibiotics and even pain meds 5-10 years after, still work fine. LAPD SWAT in a grid situation will state prisons be able to keep inmates in jail? Will they let them loose? You know, that's a hard thing to determine, because I was thinking about that tonight. And I'm not real sure about that, because they won't be able to support them. And I can't really see them leaving them there to die, right? Especially because a lot of inmates have very close relationships with jailers there, or correctional officers, I should say. And they may try to negotiate with them to let them out, or maybe take a form of payment of some sort. It's hard to say. I would venture to say that they would get out somehow. Semper Fi, Richie Bravo, appreciate you, bro. Anyhow, we'll see tomorrow, guys. I think tomorrow is going to be very telling to see how many banks get hit tomorrow, because bank runs. I'm talking about, you're going to have your everyday Joe. I'm talking about like the landscape guy. He's going to go take out all his money out of the bank. Soccer mom going to take all her money out of the bank tomorrow. It's going to happen across the country. I'm not recommending to do that at all. It'd be pointless, truthfully. I mean, and your money's insured probably because you're an FDIC bank. You should have had money on hand anyway. I've told you to keep cash on hand anyway. You know, $500 to $1,000 at all times. Always have that much cash on you, not on your person, but in your ability to touch, right? And obviously have food, antibiotics, and ammo, firearms. Those are king. Those are king. Trust me. If you can think about the worst case scenario, that's how it is. It's kind of like when you look at The Walking Dead. I know it's a TV show, but The Walking Dead, the zombies are just the catalyst of the social decline. The social decline is always the same. That's why when you look at these shows, they're always the same way, because we've had decline in various places throughout history and in the world, and they always go down a certain way, right? Being able to defend yourself, feed yourself, water, obviously, medical. Think about day to day. What would you do in the worst case scenario, and prepare for that? Anyhow, guys, we'll see tomorrow. Hopefully goes back to business as usual, but it's probably not, because I mean, they're look at what's going on in schools, guys. They're having drag queen reading hour or whatever. So anyhow, let me know your thoughts. We'll see tomorrow. We got a lot of great videos this week, so make sure you tune in every day, and be sure to go help me fight these commies, and go comment on the video, like, and share the video. Help me with this algorithm. And anyhow, guys, as always, remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, and stay dangerous. And really stay dangerous.